The absolute worst possible outcome happened. We could have had Tom Aspinall, John Jones at the White House after Tom finishes Ciryl Gane in 3 minutes. We could have had a hard-fought decision where Tom Aspinall really gets tested but shows that he's got that championship mentality. We could have even had Ciryl Gane flatlines Tom Aspinall in 1 minute and John Jones tweets away and rides off into the sunset to finish off his villain arc. But no, we get none of those things. Ciryl Gane ruins everything. Every time, Ciryl Gane ruins everything. You can't beat an Ngannou who doesn't even have one of his ACLs. You get finished by John Jones in 3 minutes and make it look like the fight was rigged. And now, you give us a no contest in one of the most anticipated fights of the year after what had actually been a really fun card. Are you serious? Can we just get rid of Ciryl Gane? Can we send him off to PFL so Ngannou has someone else to go and destroy? Please. Why do we need Ciryl Gane here? He ruins everything. He's a dirty fighter. He kicked John Jones in the balls like 1 minute into their fight. And now he tries to double finger Tom Aspinall's eyes into his brain. He took Tom Aspinall's, what would it take? Have you ever been fingered by an MMA fighter? What would it take? He took that to another level. He's like, I'll show you fingered by an MMA fighter, and just sticks both of his fingers in Tom Aspinall's eyes. Guys, what do we do now? What are you meant to do? Do you run this fight back? I'll get back to that. Let's run through a bit of this card. The first couple of fights were fun, but let's just skip through those to get to probably the funniest part of the entire prelims, which was Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Chris Barnett. Hamdy Abdelwahab dog-walked Chris Barnett the whole time. Good heavyweight grappling, and also Chris Barnett's heavyweight grappling is terrible, not to mention that both of these guys are morbidly obese, but Chris Barnett seriously looks like a joke. He does not look like he should be a UFC athlete, and I know it was sort of funny when he, had a couple wins at the start, but it's starting to get pretty embarrassing. There was a moment where Hamdy Abdelwahab takes Chris Barnett down. Chris Barnett, holds for his life against the cage. He actually didn't put his fingers in the cage. He just, tried to mime across the cage as he's getting taken down. And then as they both get up, which by the way, Hamdy Abdelwahab couldn't even put any pressure on the get up because these guys are super out of shape guys. When MMA Guru says that he could be a top 15 heavyweight UFC fighter in 5 years, I actually think he might be right. When you look at these two fighters, I wouldn't be surprised. So anyway, these guys, they get up and Chris Barnett moons the entire crowd. His bare ass is just being shown to the entire crowd. Best ad for Venom ever, right? But it was hilarious. Anyway, Chris Barnett should be cut from the UFC. Just waste of a heavyweight roster spot. Moving on to Nathaniel Wood versus Jose Delgado. This was a robbery, honestly. Delgado looked sick, man. He came out really sharp. Destroyed Nathaniel Wood in the first round. Almost had him out of there. And for the second and third, good striking. Looked like he was getting the better of most of the exchanges. They were definitely closer rounds, but I felt like Delgado had them. It was closer to being a 30-27 for Jose Delgado than a 29-28 for Nathaniel Wood. But somehow they gave the decision to Nathaniel Wood. Anyway, moving on to Valter Walker, Johnny Walker's older brother or younger brother, bigger brother at least, just got his fourth heel hook in a row in his consecutive UFC fights. He's just heel hooked 4 UFC heavyweight fighters out of here. If you'd have bet on that somehow, the odds would have been astronomical. I think on his last fight, he was plus 5,000 to get a heel hook and he gets it. And he gets it again on Louie Sutherland in a minute and a half. These guys can't stop it. They know what's coming. Their team takes time to prepare for it, but Valter Walker's just coming for that foot, man. He's coming for that heel. He's got a foot fetish and he's taking your ankle away, buddy. Anyway, moving on to Ludovit Klein versus Mateusz Rebecki. Okay, here's the question. How good is Charles Oliveira? Okay, because Mateusz Gamrot made Ludovit Klein look like he had no business being in there, and Charles Oliveira just walked through Mateusz Gamrot, and Ludovit Klein just beat up Mateusz Rebecki. Mateusz Rebecki actually looked pretty good. I don't know if Ludovit Klein just has something against the Mateuszes after his fight with Gamrot, but he really did a good job in this fight. Good striking, kept it in the distance that he wanted to, rocked Rebecki in almost all three of the rounds, but in the first round it was like really bad. The one thing I will say is that Rebecki the whole time would not stop, just kept coming forward, coming forward, coming forward. He's like this short little pit bull that just wouldn't go away. So it was a really fun, entertaining fight. And, with the pressure, Rebecki could have... Oh my God, I forgot about the craziest thing with this fight. So thank God this is the second time I'm recording this video, because the first time it actually forgot to record. I forgot about this. In the third round, Ludovit Klein's ankle breaks as he's getting taken down. It gets twisted underneath him and like breaks under him, and he can't get up. And he sort of yells that to his crowd, but to his corner, but Rebecki doesn't notice, and so he keeps him on the ground, keeps like top control, and Ludovit Klein's just doing whatever he can to stay in the fight at this point. If Mateusz Rebecki had even just stood up once, he would have won the fight, because Ludovit Klein literally could not stand up. Even after the fight, they had to announce Ludovit Klein as the winner from a seat, and they had to do the interview from a seat because his ankle was broken. He could not stand up. They had to carry him out of the octagon. So crazy win. It reminded me of that Sean O'Malley fight where he did the whole "I love you, Joe Rogan" while he was laying on the ground. But yeah, great fight for Ludovit Klein. I'm glad that he got the win, even though he had the broken ankle. Moving on to Ikram Aliskerov versus Park Jun-yong. We'll just be on this one for a minute because honestly, it was not a very entertaining fight. The Iron Turtle versus Ikram Aliskerov, this Dagestani guy who said that he can beat Khamzat Chimaev, but honestly looked like trash. Like, yes, he has the better wrestling than the Iron Turtle, so he was able to take him down. But by the end of the second round, he was so gassed that Park Jun-yong came out in the third round knowing, if I just put pressure on you, I can eventually get you. But he made like one mistake. Ikram Aliskerov was able to get him down, took his back, took the body triangle, and just didn't let it go for the rest of the round. So classic Dagestani win of 3 boring round decision. Moving on to the main event, though, this was the opposite of boring. Okay, so Nasrat Haqparast versus an Australian. This does not sound like an Australian name, but Quillian Salkilld. Dude, this Quillian Salkilld kid took it on 10 days' notice, comes in there looking sharp against a guy like Nasrat Haqparast, who is a good lightweight with a 5-fight win streak, and just is, it's going back and forth, it's looking competitive, and then out of nowhere, Quillian Salkilld just throws this high kick with everything he possibly can into it, and it sort of looked like Haqparast had been able to stop it, but it just gets over the guard, claps him into the temple, and Nasrat Haqparast is out cold before he even hits the ground and just face first unconscious. And honestly, it got pretty scary. Like, he was out for minutes. Like, they had to do the announcement for the fight winner moved off to the side because Nasrat Haqparast's unconscious body was laid out in the middle of the octagon. Same with the octagon interview. They had to like do it off to the side. And I was sitting there going like, please don't let this be the first time that it ever happens in the UFC. Like, we can't have that happen. It's been so good that that's never happened, and we need to keep it that way. But when a guy's out cold for multiple minutes, it can get pretty scary. But anyway, the Australian Quillian Salkilld, what a way to introduce yourself. No one's going to know how to say your name, but they will know you. He's got this amazing mustache. He, walk-off KO. That head kick was just so good. He looks down at Nasrat Haqparast, sees that he's out, walks away, does this. We're done. Just, beautiful. Beautiful win for the Australian. Okay, so that was the prelims. Honestly, probably the best preliminary card of the entire year. And I know I've said that about a few, but this legit. Maybe the weirdest as well. But the main card, let's get into it. So, starts with Aleksander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. Need some water. So it starts out with Aleksander Rakic versus Azamat Murzakanov. I got all my picks right on the main card, by the way, other than Ciryl Gane ruining everything. So I said Azamat Murzakanov was going to win by first round KO because Aleksander Rakic is washed. And that's exactly what happened. He literally took him out with a jab in like 1 minute. Jab, Rakic goes down, finishes it off. It's over. Rakic, can you retire? Can we send this guy to Bellator or something like that? There's just no need. We don't need him here anymore. He gets put down the moment you touch him. Dominic Reyes puts him down with that, step back straight. And honestly, that didn't seem like the strongest punch in the world at the time. Now, same thing. Azamat Murzakanov with a jab, boom. Aleksander Rakic is out. We're done. It's over. The idea that this is a top 10 light heavyweight, please. Moving on. Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. I'm so glad Volkov won this fight. Honestly, even though I picked Volkov, if I hadn't, I would have still wanted him to win this fight because Jailton Almeida is basically like the heavyweight Khamzat Chimaev, but with no finishing ability. And he doesn't even try to finish. It's just like if Khamzat fought all of his fights like he did against DDP, that's Jailton Almeida. Alexander Volkov was doing more off of his back than Jailton Almeida was doing off of the top, which is actually why Volkov won the fight. So, first round, Almeida gets a takedown like straight away, basically, has like 3 minutes of top control, does nothing with it. Eventually, Volkov sweeps him from half guard, gets on top, and for the last minute and a half of the first round is just raining down punishment and landing a lot of really damaging strikes. Moving to the second round, Almeida wants nothing to do with the stand-up. Shoots another takedown, gets top position, doesn't really do anything with it, and Volkov's throwing 12-6 elbows, throwing punches, trying to get Kimuras, doing anything and everything that he possibly can, standing up when he has the potential to, and really just doing more damage. And honestly, that was the same story for round 3 as well. So rather than get repetitive, long story short, Alexander Volkov ends up winning a 29-28 split decision, which, let's go. That's how it should be. Almeida looked pissed, but it's like you did nothing in the fight. You should not get awarded a fight for just holding a guy down if you did no damage. Okay, if the other guy doesn't do any damage either, sure. But like, Volkov was hitting you constantly. You did nothing. In the rules of the schoolyard, Volkov won the fight. Is what it is. Moving on to Umar Nurmagomedov. I can't even say the name. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista. So, this one, went the way that probably everybody expected. Umar Nurmagomedov, dominant victory. The striking exchanges were very, competitive. I was going to say close, but they were more competitive. I do think that Nurmagomedov was getting the better of most of them. But, when you're a Dagestani crotch sniffer, your game plan becomes very predictable. And in the second round, Mario Bautista throws the straight right, followed by like a right knee high kick to time the takedown that was about to come in, that did come in, catches Umar on the chin, drops him bad. Honestly, if a couple things had gone right in that moment, I think Mario Bautista might have been able to get Umar out of there, but Khabib's team is so good at not dropping the ball if they get rocked. They are not like Justin Gaethje getting rocked by Dustin Poirier and going, I'm just going to fight till one of us goes down. Or not Dustin Poirier, I think it's Dan Hooker that I'm thinking of. Or was it the first? No, it was the first Dustin Poirier fight where he like rocks Justin, and instead of Justin wrestling at any point, he just keeps going. Anyway, not the point. Umar Nurmagomedov ends up winning, got rocked badly in the second round. Mario Bautista looked very good, but what this showed me is that Umar's not beating Merab. If he gets that title shot next, it is going to be a loss because if you can't really dominate Mario Bautista more than you did there, you're not getting away with that with Merab 5 rounds. Umar looked tired by the end of the third anyway. Anyway, moving on. Virna Janderoba versus Mackenzie Dern. This fight was a scrap, guys. Honestly, this was probably the most fun fight on the entire main card. It actually was. Like, I know that the Murzakanov Rakic fight was a KO, but like that was in 1 minute. This was the most fun fight on the whole main card. These girls went to war. Although the interesting thing, these judges are clearly changing up their scoring because Virna Janderoba basically suffered the same fate as Almeida. She did have more top control, but because she never used it, she didn't win the fight. She got Mackenzie Dern down a few times, and if she'd have actually been doing some damage, she would have won. But instead, Mackenzie Dern was always the one being active off her back, throwing elbows, throwing strikes, trying for submissions constantly, triangles, arm bars. And when they were on the feet, Mackenzie Dern was just more active. Her coach, Jason Perillo, who's also Cheetah Vera's coach, actually gave her like really good advice. Just every time she hits you, you hit her twice. Don't worry about trying to finish her. Just be more active, especially in that fifth round. Like just do more, do more, do more, 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 more. And then in the fifth round, it was looking pretty close. Jandiroba had Mackenzie Dern down, but Dern gets up. He's able to push her to the cage. Just do more, impose her will. She just showed that she had more. She had the heart to win this championship belt. I know it was a vacant belt, but she's the new queen. Let's see if she brings out an OnlyFans or something like that soon. No, degeneracy. Anyway, that's it. The main event, we already basically discussed it, but Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, no contest due to being poked in both your eyes in the first round of the fight after basically feeling each other out and not getting going. It was about to get going. It looked like it was going to be such a good fight. We all got robbed of the best fight ever. Could you imagine if you paid the pay-per-view and that was what happened? You should get a refund if you paid for that pay-per-view. Anyway, I'm curious. I'm going to be up for a few hours because I'm working on some other stuff. Let me know what you thought of this card. What did you think of what do you think that we should do with Tom and Ciryl now? Should they rematch? Do you just do Tom Jones at the White House? What do you do with the heavyweight division now? Anyway, like, subscribe, let me know what you think. I'm so disappointed. I was so excited for this card, and I was having so much fun, and I just feel like my balloon got popped by Ciryl Gane with his fucking eyes, with his fingers, not his eyes. Anyway, see ya.